I can't believe that my story inspired that. Like, whoa, that was. I loved it.
Welcome to Steep Stairs Podcast. In our third episode, Scriber 2020 graduate Thalia Sykes dives into issues of racism and bullying in her story, I Got the Feeling, part of Scriber's new book titled This Smile is for Everyone Else. Her story was a catalyst for our class's conversation and inspired students Amaria Eilertsen and Elijah Conn to share their own experiences through poetry. We also interviewed Scriber's prevention specialist Brian Lundquist about his experiences with bullying and his journey towards discovering self-worth. This episode contains content that may be difficult for some listeners, including issues of body image, disordered eating, self-harm, racial slurs, and bullying. From the halls of high school to negative experiences as an adult, the impact of bullying is far-reaching. If you or someone you know is being bullied, speak up and speak out. Talk to your counselors, teachers, family, or visit stopbullying.gov for more resources. In our first segment, several students share their stories, define what makes a bully, and talk about the long-lasting impacts of bullying. What is your name, your preferred pronoun, and grade?
What is your name?
What is your name?
What's your name?
Preferred pronouns.
Preferred pronouns.
And grade.
And your grade.
My name is Noah, he, him, 11th grade.
Isabel Mendoza, I'm in 11th grade.
My name is Seamus Lanigan, he, him, and I'm a senior.
I'm Sophie Knight, and I go by she, her, and I'm a senior.
My name is Alejandra Alonso Warren. Preferred pronouns are she and her. My grade is 11th. My name's Kelly, she, her, and I'm a junior.
My name is Joey. I go by he, him, and my grade is senior.
My name is Amaria. My preferred pronouns are he, him. I'm in 11th grade.
Alex. My preferred pronoun is he, him. I am a senior.
My name is Elijah, and I'm a senior this year.
My name is Tyrell. My grade is 11.
My name is Blaze Midkiff, and I am a junior.
What makes a bully?
What do you think makes a bully?
What do you think makes a bully?
To you, what makes a bully?
I would say somebody who's really angry and insecure.
A person that is insecure about themselves and they have to push that on to other people.
I think someone who goes through like hard stuff and then they take it out on other people.
Someone who continuously harasses someone.
A bully is someone that points out all the insecurities and little things in people that make them upset.
Someone is mean to someone for something they can't control.
What kind of bullying have you experienced or witnessed?
What kind of bullying have you experienced or witnessed?
What kind of bullying have you experienced or witnessed?
Yeah, I've definitely gone through it.
When I was younger, I was pretty overweight. I was kind of bullied for that.
I guess because I dressed a little bit more like a boy rather than a girl, so I've been treated pretty differently because of it.
I was bullied for my weight and things that would go on at home because I was like homeless in middle school.
Because I was treated basically different for my class. And what I mean by being treated different for my class is because of the different clothes that I could or couldn't afford, I was being treated differently and being excluded in games and stuff and at lunch.
I've experienced a lot of bullying. I experienced cyberbullying.
I saw some kid bullying my best friend, my brother.
I've seen other people get bullied.
I've definitely seen people been bullied and the pain it's caused.
I haven't experienced any type of bullying, but I've witnessed tons of bullying in different forms.
Did you tell anybody about it?
Did you tell anyone about it?
Did you ever tell anybody about it?
Did you tell anyone about it?
What happened?
If so, what happened?
I only really tell my friends.
When it started to get like bad, I'd tell my friends and then tell my like siblings too.
I tried to tell some adults, but they really didn't seem to do much.
I went to a counselor and the principal once, but not much was done there. They kind of just ignored it.
How did all of this affect you?
How did all of this affect you?
How did it affect you?
Did any of these things affect you, like mentally, physically, any self-worth, anything like that?
It really affected me a lot for a bit. But now I could care less what people have to say.
It made me feel some type of way because I couldn't tell if people didn't like me just because, or they were being homophobic, or whatever else. You could say it kind of did affect the way I looked at myself.
It really just made me, I guess, insecure for a very long time.
You get really humiliated walking down the halls. You get anxious when you don't have anyone to talk to. Well, the whole lunchroom is crowded, Your bullies have managed to make these simple situations stressful because of the way they treat you.
I just didn't like seeing that. I really hated seeing somebody getting bullied.
I was bullied when I was younger, and seeing him getting bullied like that was just, it was a no-go for me. I don't mess with bullies. If I see someone bullying someone, I'm gonna do something about it.
What helped you cope with the situation?
What helped you cope with the situation?
What helped you cope with the situation?
At first, I just kind of ignored it and just kind of laughed it out with them. My friends, they were just ignore it. They're just insecure. But then eventually I was just don't want to put myself in another situation where they make fun of me. So I stopped being friends with them and then made new friends.
We'd have these giant football matches, and that's how we would resolve everything.
Just being around people that I'm comfortable with.
Just stop caring what other people think. I think I'm here to satisfy myself and some people, but not everybody, I'm here for me.
At some point I needed to recognize that I can't let someone treat me like this.
I went to see a counselor to see if I could do anything more than just say something.
Did things get better?
Did things get better?
Did things get better?
Why or why not?
Why or why not? I just learned to not care what other people have to say about me.
They did definitely get better. When I switched schools, there was no bullying there. Everyone was a whole lot more accepting.
Yeah, over time after seeing a counselor, I think stuff got better.
Things have just been a lot easier since I got away from those kids.
Yeah, I'd like to think things got better.
Yeah, things did get better.
In Thalia's story, a group of students follow her through the hallways after class and weaponize the N-word against her. We have removed the racial slurs and changed the names of the bullies to protect the identities of minors.
I got the feeling. Look at that stupid I hear her coming behind me as I put my math book in the crate. I hate that she's in this class.
I know this voice. It's Melissa's. And it's been a week since I decided to stop talking to her and her friends, who huddle around her, giggling at her words.
I came to this small town school a few months ago and was just becoming comfortable, starting to find my place when I realized what my other new acquaintances were telling me was true.
Melissa was a monster, a bully.
She began to give me dirty looks when I stopped having lunch with her and started reading instead. I have already seen the way she deals with other people she doesn't like, so I know she isn't going to stop there. I know she's a snake about to strike. When the bell rings, the tension builds. Something's going to happen. I step outside the classroom and feel 5 pairs of eyes burning holes into the back of my head. They're following me.
I sense Melissa is about to spew acid my way, and my stomach becomes a ball of nerves.
She says. I can feel the bile bubbling up in my throat. Then, one by one, her 4 minions follow her lead, and the word becomes a chant. The word pounds in my ears. My face burns, and I'm instantly sweating all over. I turn and lock eyes with one of her sidekicks. His eyes black with anger. I see the dirt under his nails and the yellow on his teeth. The smirk on his cherub-cheeked face makes it look like he's having fun. In fact, all of them are filled with smiles and glee.
Except for Melissa.
She wears a twisted grin that spells out, I hate you, and are you sorry now? You're a fat elephant, she spits. Fear overtakes my mind, and all I want to do is shrink down and disappear. I pick up my pace to escape the acid that is now all over me. As I run away from them, my skin burning, I truly feel like the fat elephant she says I am. I look down and see thick gray legs and calves. I feel the ground shake beneath me and the vibrations run up my legs as I jump down the stairs all the way to the lunch line, where I'm finally safe, leaving behind a trail of fear. My mom and I moved into my great-aunt's house in Granite Falls, Washington, about an hour away from my dad in Linwood after my parents' separation. I hate everything about this year except for this house. It feels more like a home than anywhere I've ever lived. My aunt and uncle make me feel welcome and heard. They encourage me in school, and I feel comfortable with myself around them. After running away from my nightmare day at my new school, I sing along with Bob their parrot to try to escape thinking about what happened. I can't even taste the snack mix I find in the pantry. I just want it in my mouth. When I've had my fill, I walk to the fridge and scavenge for something else to put in my stomach. I find a stir-fry packet, mushrooms, onions, and bell peppers, so I pull out a pan and cook all of it. When I finish that meal, I find an expired box of Girl Scout tag-alongs, open them, and shove them into my black hole. I end up eating half of them, then put back the rest. I go to my room, get under the covers, and try to sleep everything away. After a week of enduring Melissa's dirty stares, sneers, and Instagram and Snapchat posts saying things like, "I'm so tired of dealing with this f***ing bitch," I finally decide to talk to an adult. I pull the glass doors open that lead to the counseling office and find my counselor sitting at her desk. I take a seat in front of her. The skin on the backside of my thighs is cold, and goosebumps form on my legs. I don't want to do this. Maybe I shouldn't. "Why are you here?" she says. Her nervous smile etched on her face, and something about the tone of her voice makes me sure she doesn't really want to hear why. I want to get up and walk out, but something makes me stay. As I start to recount what happened, I notice the deep lines of her crow's feet from constant smiling. "What should I do?" I ask after I explain and show her screenshots of the post. She gives me a dumbfounded look, but continues to smile. "Well, I think you should play the invisible game." She pauses. "Don't let Melissa get to you. Pretend she's not there. Even if she's yelling at you, just pretend she's not there." Invisible game? Cracks in my already fragile mind turn into chasms. She's saying something about Melissa and how the death of her mother has affected her. I feel nothing. I don't hear words anymore. I'm frozen. I try to process her words. She continues talking, and I hear a faint voice in my head protesting, telling me what she's saying is wrong. I have no idea what it feels like to lose a parent, let alone be able to process it, but that doesn't give anyone the right to bully someone else. I stare at her, get up, and go straight to the theater. I need to be surrounded by the safety of darkness. Back at my aunt's house, I still feel as if I'm drifting away, floating above my body like a parade balloon. I had the same feeling when my dad told me he cheated on my mom. I could see the tops of our heads from above as we walked down the hill toward a convenience store. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I kept floating far above until I couldn't see our heads anymore, just clouds and blue sky. And I had the same feeling when I opened the door to my mom's room, to find her crying and texting on her phone, looking defeated. Anger and thoughts filled my head. Why can't you get over it? Forget about him. I hate you and him both. I'll never know why the adults in my life have never tried to help me, even when they knew I needed it. They all seem to turn a blind eye and pretend not to hear my cries for help, or see the blood dripping down my arms and stomach. Every time I'm treated like I'm invisible by an adult, a piece of me disappears. I feel like I have to glue everyone else back together as I crumble. Can't anyone see that I'm hurting? All of their empty words burn into my mind, like when a song gets stuck in your head and just won't leave. Bob's singing lulls, and I give in again. I eat so much that it hurts. The physical pain masks the emotional pain. I just want to eat everything that will make me forget. But when I look in the mirror, I remember that I want to cut away the fat. The next day, I go to the principal's office with my friend, who knows the whole story. We show the principal the screenshots, and I tell him everything. My friend tells him Melissa has bullied her too. "I'll do something about it if it comes up again," he says, without meeting my eyes. I walk away knowing it's up to me to do something. I hear from everyone that Melissa's talking about me again. When lunch rolls around, I'm filled with rage, searching for my prey. I finally find her after pushing through the crowded lunchroom. I see her sitting outside, talking and laughing with some of the people I once called friends, blissfully unaware of the fireball heading her way. I march to the table where she sits and see the smile on her face disappear into a scowl. We lock eyes, and that's when the fire that's in my throat comes shooting out, burning her. "Why am I still hearing my name in your mouth? Stop talking about me. Stop calling me a name." Melissa narrows her eyes. "I didn't say anything," she yells. "I never called you a name. Stop lying." My cheeks burn. Disbelief fills her eyes. Why can't you just admit what you said? I continue. Get up. I'm sick of your bullshit. Get up. I'm not going to tell you again. Shut up, she yells, remaining seated. Get out of here, her voice cracks. No, I yell. I want to fight, since you don't want to leave me alone. I walk toward her, hunched over, spitting out the fire in my throat. Why can't you admit what you said? You're such a... Her jaw drops, and her eyes get big. What did you call me? She asks as she gets up from where she's sitting to back away from me. Really? That word's going to get to you? After calling me a... You have the audacity to be bothered now? You heard me. Don't act like you didn't, I say. I flex my arm, and I'm ready to throw a punch, when I feel someone grabbing my arm from behind. Go back inside, says a stern female voice. This isn't the way to handle things. I spin around to see yet another adult who just doesn't get it. I lock eyes with her and glare her down. What is the way to handle things then? Let the monster chew on my mind and gulp down my self-worth? No way. My heart is racing, and I can feel hundreds of eyes on me. I put my earbuds in to regain control and walk away, to James Brown's song, I Got the Feeling. You don't know what you do to me. People are heavy, down in misery. When I get to class, I tell the substitute I need to go see my counselor. I have to get out of there. I grab my backpack and rush out the door with the feeling of change all around me. As I take my last step off of the stairs, I break into a run. I run as hard and as fast as my gorgeous, chunky legs will carry me, all the way home. I've got to be free of all that has been said and done to me. I've been trying to get validation from everyone else, but all I have is myself. If I have to stand up for myself and be labeled that angry black woman to get people to listen, I'll do that. If I have to scare people by being myself, I'll do that. If I have to decide not to care about the pain anymore and just live, I'll do that. I don't exactly know what I'll do, but I'll figure it out on my own. Hey? Yeah, all right.
For Thalia, being bullied for her race was a huge part of her life. Being body shamed for other aspects of her appearance was also prominent, as has been the experience for far too many students. Reading her story inspired a class discussion on bullying, body image, and its impacts, as well as my own poem.
So we were listening to your story in class, and so as I was listening to it, I just kind of started hearing the first line, which is, what is it like being fat in a society that tells us skinny is the most beautiful thing you can be? I just heard that over and over and over, and then I just started writing. So it was really like your story that inspired my poem. What is it like being fat in a society that tells us skinny is the most beautiful thing you can be? It is hard, so hard, because I am who I am, but I am not good enough. I am not pretty enough. People look at me and automatically make unjustified assumptions about my eating habits, my health. They do not think that I deserve to take up space on this earth. I was bullied for so long that I started to believe it, that I am worthless, that I am less than, that I do not deserve to be alive. I would look in the mirror and it made me feel sick. I would starve myself because I just wanted to be beautiful like all the other girls. I thought of slicing open my skin with razor blades because I was already ugly anyways. I was 8, 10, 12, 14. I was a child, but the world didn't want me as I was, so I faded away to nothingness. I was a zombie walking through life. I could hear the whispers, the taunts. They were making fun of me again, but I was too tired to care, too tired to tell them to f off, so I just let them. I figured they had to. They bullied me because they really just hated themselves, but that doesn't make it hurt any less. What did I do to deserve this? Is it simply because I exist? Because if it is, I just don't want to exist anymore. The world is such a cruel place. It is not kind to those that are different. It does not accept what isn't normal. Either you fit in to survive or you die. But I would rather die than hate myself for one more second for something I can't change in 30 seconds. This is the body I was given. It was made for me, not anyone else. It is perfect for me, not anyone else. And even though now when I look in the mirror, I see my beauty and my worth, that self-hate perpetuated by societal demands on women to be perfect and skinny sticks with me. Some days my brain still tells me I don't deserve to eat because I am fat and ugly and always will be. The physical pain of my hunger,
a reminder that I am worthless because even though I have removed myself from the narrative that fat equals ugly, their voices still bounce around in my head. The funny thing is that I would look at other fat girls and think, God, she is divine, she is beautiful, she is perfect. Hypocrite. Even my own flesh and blood made me feel ashamed of who I was. I was 13 years old. Why does the world hate me for the body I was born in? I am so much more than my body. I am so much more than my weight, and that is never an excuse for your hate. So to all the girls out there who've been conditioned to hate themselves for the body they walk around in, you are so beautiful. You shine brighter than 1,000 stars. Every curve, every stretch mark, every roll, every bit that jiggles when you move is absolutely, undeniably, inexplicably divine.
That was powerful. That was magical. I can't believe that my story inspired that. Like, whoa, that was beautifully written, and everything that you said I could relate to, like, on such a deep level. Like you saying when you're talking about the cutting already because you were ugly, like I felt those emotions. Like I still got my scars. Like everything that you say, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna relate, you know? So I thank you for writing that and putting that into the universe.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that connected and that you liked it. I don't understand either, like, my body isn't affecting you in any way. I make TikToks and stuff, and like I've had people multiple times tell me, like, how's it gonna feel when you die by 40 because your heart can't take it or something? Like, first of all, unless you are my physician, my doctor, and know my story, know everything about my everything, you don't need to tell me anything. I just think that's so stupid. If you've ever seen fat girls, like, just loving themselves, being proud of their body, you know, loving who they are, people are always like, you're like promoting obesity and shit. Like, no, that girl is just loving herself. It's so toxic to me. Like, I hate it so much.
I love that. That was beautiful. That was beautifully worded. I felt that too, I will admit. I'm so sorry that people comment on your body. Like, it's just so annoying. Like, we didn't ask. And that's not just it. It's like, why are you paying so much attention to somebody who isn't hurting you or doing anything? They're just walking by or making a freaking TikTok, you know? They're just living and breathing. What's the problem? It is annoying for me to see that, like, on the internet, being like, oh, I wish my fat body looked like that. And I'm like, your body's perfect the way it is. I don't know if you guys have ever realized that, like, the fat ideal. Hourglass body, no fat in your stomach. Yeah, you're supposed to have fat everywhere else, but not in your arms either, but your thighs and your legs and your butt and your boobies and whatever. It's just like, excuse me? Mm-mm.
Elijah's going to read his poem now. It's a different take on being bullied for the way you look.
The poem that I wrote this in 9th grade when I was a freshman, and it's titled Ode to My Ugliness. It's my first day of middle school. You say I'm ugly, so I wear makeup. You say I'm too fake, so I take some off. You say I try too hard to be pretty, so I stop trying. I start accepting myself. But then you give me makeup and send me tutorials and point out my acne, my scars, my uneven skin tone, me. I ignore you, but it's hard to keep your pounding voices out. You call me ugly. High school comes. I move. It continues. If this many people think I am ugly, it must be true, right? I try different hair. I try makeup again. All I get are new names, mean names. All I want is to be beautiful. So I'm left with the options of being ugly or fake. Maybe it's my nose. Maybe it's my cheekbones. Maybe plastic surgery will help. I spend millions of dollars that I can't afford to spend in order to look beautiful. You notice, but not on my newfound beauty, on my new mask I chose to hide behind, on my inability to overcome the peer pressure, on my fakeness. Will I ever be enough for you? You've ruined my life by giving me self-doubt, by making me feel ugly. You tell me to love myself, then give me reasons why I shouldn't. Why do you care? Why does my sadness mean so much to you? You've driven me into a pit of depression. Even when I can't leave my bed, you don't stop. That's when social media comes into play. And no one is shy on social media. So it gets worse. And the more I cry, the uglier I get. Depression makes me miss weeks of school, which makes people call me a coward. And they continue to get worse. And it's my fault for being ugly. So I take a knife and cut off the parts I hate. My ugliness is gone, but so am I. You now say you cared about me, that we were good friends. You say that I seemed happy. You say that I was beautiful. You say it's a sad tragedy. Funny. That's not how I remember it.
I can't express how amazing the way you guys write is, you know? Like, I don't know. And the way you guys express yourself, and you're so emotionally tuned already, like in tune with yourself. And I feel like it takes a lot for somebody to become that, you know? You really have to deal with your own trauma and just, I don't know, fight, right?
I feel like specifically like the words that you chose felt very powerful.
Yeah.
Like you really put a lot of thought into what words you were using, and I feel like you put it together in a really powerful way. What helped you get to that place?
Probably like 11th grade. I had a class that helped a lot because I had two teachers that were really supportive for a lot of different things. And then I was on the wrestling team at my school, which helped a lot. Like really, really recently, I've kind of kicked a lot of people out of my life because they were not helping me or they were abusive or whatever the reason was. And then after I did that, like the clouds went away and like everything was so much better.
I feel like whenever I'm going through a time of like intense emotional crisis, when I write, like it's almost like, you know, like when you feel really alone, like when you've gone through something really traumatic, you're like all fucked up, you know, and you feel really alone, even though you know that there are people around you. It's almost like when I write, I don't feel alone for a second. Like, even though it's just me writing, I can relate to myself, then I know other people can relate to me. And that means like, I'm not alone. And like in that moment, like I can feel the energy of other people who I don't even know personally, but like my soul knows them because like we're on the same level.
I used to have such bad like self-esteem where I would like turn off the lights when I would go into the bathroom because I did not want to see myself in the mirror. Like I was like, no, thank you. Especially when I was getting naked to get in the shower. Good Lord, it's pitch blackness. I don't want to see anything. Ew. But after writing that story, it really changed everything. Like my self-esteem, the way I interacted with other people who were like bullies and like mean to me from my body. I just realized I don't need people who don't want to like be friends with me for being fat or are gonna make fun of me for being fat.
That pain that people put you through, it never goes away. You just learn how to deal with it. You learn how to ignore it, or you learn how to cope with it. You learn how to take that pain and turn it into something beautiful. And I would also say, like, it's okay to lean on people that are in your life. Like, the people that are there for you, your friends, they really care about you. And, like, if you just took a moment to trust them and confide in them, like, so many things would be better. You wouldn't have done so many things that really fucked your life up in even bigger ways. And, like, just trust those people. And, like, I love you. Yeah, that's what I would say.
While you're in high school, like, it literally feels like it's the end of the world. Like, everything sucks. But as an adult, like, once you graduate, you realize, like, I ain't got to be with none of these people. I ain't got to see none of your faces ever again. Goodbye. And if somebody's willing to listen to you and take a chance on you, please take it. It's still an everyday battle. Don't get me wrong. It's not like writing this stuff and, like, not to be pessimistic. Of course, I'm going to get there eventually. But I'm still working. I'm still chugging. Like, I'm still trying to go. Like, I still have my days where I don't want to eat because I'm like, you're fat. Like, oh my God, don't eat. You don't need to eat. It's worth it, you know? to be here, to be alive, to not hate myself every day like I used to. It's just worth it.
Every student in our class either experienced bullying personally or had close friends who were bullied. Many of us have felt that our reports of bullying have gone unheard. We invited Scriber prevention specialist Brian Lundquist to talk with us about his experience with bullying and get an educator's perspective.
I really do appreciate being asked about this, because nobody ever does. Nobody ever asks. Nobody ever assumes. You know, they look at me and they assume that I've always handled my mud and nobody's ever messed with me. Well, that's not the case.
What makes a bully?
A bully is somebody who doesn't necessarily accept themselves, and therefore they try to control other people as a means to satisfy something that's lacking within themselves. And I differentiate between, like, brothers, picking on each other and just students, poking at each other. A bully takes it to the next level, which is to try to dehumanize.
Tell us more about your role at Scriber and what draws you to working with students.
I had a really rough time in high school. And so coming to Scriber is full circle to me, because I've worked a lot with students who don't feel like they fit in. And I know for me, I've never really fit in anywhere. And so the day that I walked on the campus and I saw students, I was like, there we go, right? And it hasn't changed. I'm just the guy that can meet you face to face, no matter what you're facing. I remember what it was like for me to be in high school and the struggles that I had. And I also remember, really importantly, that it felt like nobody was there for me. And I've always wanted to be there for somebody who felt that too.
A lot has changed since you were a student. How is bullying different now?
On the playground, right, we would just, fisticuffs and throw blocks of wood at each other. That was how we managed it many moons ago. The bullying that now exists is more insidious. And I find it actually more disturbing, because it's all behind our cell phones, right? I can mess with you doing this all day long. Whereas if you and I are on the playground, that's a different thing, because we're face to face. For me, because I'm old school kind of guy, I like the face to face stuff. So,
what kind of bullying have you experienced or witnessed?
Most people have always presumed that I was weak. They challenged my sexuality. They challenged my masculinity. They questioned everything about me, because I allow my emotions to be here on my sleeve. I have always turned that pain into standing up for people. And so the bully, on another side of bullying, is me standing in front of bullies and saying, thou shalt not pass, right? And that I do that, and I do that freely as a means to put my own stamp on bullying and my own experiences. You got to turn your pain into something positive.
Did you tell anybody about it? What happened?
The only person that I ever really talked to about it was my mother. And the reason why is because everybody else said, suck it up. Be quiet. Don't worry about it. Go kick his ass. Do this, do that. And so it's hard to tell people, because they don't want to hear it. They want you to suck it up and just take it. And you can't do that, because where does your pain go? And so what I've always done is sort of journal about these kinds of experiences. I've always talked to somebody, a friend that I can trust. But really, the answer is still no. You're not supposed to. And as a man in our society, you're not supposed to talk about it. You're supposed to just deal with it. And that's part of growing up, Let's get your butt kicked and all that macho crap that's false. Really, it affects you on such a deeply psychological way that you're constantly looking around. Fight or flight, right? So The answer is yes and no.
How did all of this affect you?
It affects you on a very psychological and deep emotional level. And then what you do is you internalize that, and then you hate yourself. And if you hate yourself, then you self-destruct. And they win, right? Then they go, look at that idiot, right? So they set you up that way, and then they call you names, and then they applaud themselves on the back. The idea is to not allow that to happen too much and just embrace what you are and who you are. And that takes a long time. It takes a long time. It takes a fair amount of work. And it requires a lot of courage to look in the mirror and see who you really are and recount the experiences that you've been through and not allow them to control you emotionally.
Did things get better?
Did things get better? Absolutely. 100%. 100%. But really, that's because I embraced who I am. I like who I am. And it takes a while to get there. When you do that, you're free. You are absolutely free to be yourself, to do what your intention is, to be who you want to be. You gotta get there.
I just appreciate you being here, Brian. It was really nice seeing you.
Steep Stairs podcast is produced by the students and staff of Scriber Lake High School with support from Foundry 10. Interviewing for the episode was led by
Noah Del Rio,
Marjie Turner,
Amaria, Eilertsen,
Elijah Conn,
Sophie Knight,
and Alexander Langlois.
editing done by
Alejandro Alonso Warren,
Kelly Veronica Benavides,
Tyrell Burke,
Seamus Lanigan,
Isabel Mendoza,
Blaze Midkiff,
Dominic Severich,
Marjie Turner,
Joey Walker,
Marjie Bowker,
Rachel Ramey,
and Chelsea Gorzalski.
The featured story, I Got the Feeling, was written by Thalia Sykes, and original music was created by Elijah Conn. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next episode.